Hi, it's Joe Remax, coming to you from my office in Bangkok. Today I want to talk to you about the tricky art of pricing real estate in Bangkok and in Thailand in general. In other countries there are MLSs and the selling prices of properties are well known. In Thailand there's no such database. What's known are asking prices that we see advertised, but we are not always privy to what the actual agreed selling price is. We don't know whether it's 10% under or 10% over, except for the properties that we sell. Now, in general, people ask high and will discount. This is the nature of the market here, where sellers will put out a price and then the negotiations begin from there. One way that prices are established is that the seller will come to the agent and say, I want X for my property. It's not very scientific, it's their feeling. Or I paid Y for my property and I want to make 10% more, therefore I'm going to list at Y times 1.1. These two pricing strategies are, I think, a better check than they are a way to price a property. The value of a property is no doubt what the market will bear. So for someone to arbitrarily declare a price because it's what they want is a question that I think customers should look at as, once you determine the market value, do you still want to sell? So you could say, I want $1 million for your home, and we find out the market value is like 500,000. Do you still want to sell or you want to hang on to it? And I think those numbers come in. It really, I want numbers are great as checking whether the price that we market at is a good price. So how do we determine market price? It's a bit of an art. Since we don't have a comprehensive database based partly on our experience, on what we sell ourselves, what we're hearing in the market, what comparable developer units are selling for when it comes to condos. So we can look at a condo and we do know that the developer is going to discount 5 or 10%. So we can figure out what the actual closing prices are going to be. And even things that we see advertised, depending where they're coming from, we apply our industry knowledge and look at comparable listings, asking price, and kind of derive what we think is a reasonable market price, taking into account market conditions, the property, and other factors. Once we establish what we believe to be a fair market price, we have to decide on a listing price, right? How much should we advertise it at? And how much are we going to negotiate? So Asia, negotiation is commonplace. It's always going on. And what I see is a lot of pricing that has room to negotiate. And while that's good, I think it may not serve you that well. And I want to switch over to my computer, which is over. I'm going to put it here for you. And I'm going to show you a graphic about pricing. So let me do that now. How the effect of pricing, perceived price, affects the potential buyers. So this is a graphic that shows a pyramid. And if you look at the middle, there's market value. Now the numbers that you see in each segment of the pyramid are the number of buyers who will entertain the idea of looking at your property, either going for a viewing, that kind of thing. So proportion of buyers are in the number that you see in the middle. So if you're priced at market value, 60% of eligible people shopping at that rate will be interested to look at your house. So let's say it's, should we use baht? Let's say it's 10 million baht. If that is the market price perceived by the market, the buyers, then 60% of eligible buyers will come and view your home. Now, if we move up and your price is 10% over market, the number drastically reduces. Only 30% of eligible buyers will come in to view your property. So can you see what's happening here is you get less and less potential buyers by inflating the price. And when we go up 15% over perceived market value, you only end up with 10% of the potential buyers looking at your property. Let's look at the bottom of the triangle then. If you're 10% under market value, so let's say it's 10 million property and you are advertising at 9 million, 75% of eligible buyers will entertain looking at your property. And that goes up even more dramatically if you're 15% under market value. And that is market value. So I wanted to share that graphic with you and have you understand that many of our clients, they want to leave room for negotiation. But by doing that, you may be killing your chances of finding that right buyer for your home. Working with an agent and listing based more on market value than on what you want out of it. I mean, that's a good question. We already talked about that. If someone is saying, well, an agent's telling you, well, you know, you need to sell this for X, and you say, I'm really not comfortable with that. Well, it's not right time to sell for you. You need to hang on to it. A good agent will help you through that process, and it may be a painful one. And I know personally I've had properties and I've taken them to agents because I need an objective view. I need not my own agents, not myself. I need an objective view. And when they look at it and they tell me the price they think they can sell it at, sometimes it's a little bit disappointing. You were hoping for more. But at the end of the day, it has to be priced right, as we saw in the pyramid, to attract those buyers in. Do I negotiate a lot? Probably less than other people, but my strategy is I come in close to what I want. I put it close to, it has to be right in the market value. The buyer knows when it's a deal. I don't have to negotiate a lot. And I will have more competition, more offers on my property because I'm pricing it, let's say, on the lower side. I'm not dreaming about an asking price that I'm going to discount 30%. Nobody knows, the buyer on their side, they don't know whether you plan to discount 30%, 20%, 10%, 5%, but they do know a deal when they see it. So that's why I kind of tend towards listing close to what you think is acceptable and what the market will tolerate. And if there's a big gap there, it may not be right. Finally, I want to conclude today about talking a little bit more about what is that market price. So we talked about market price, and I told you it's not a science, but what's happening in Bangkok with COVID? I think before COVID, as far as where we work with all the condos and the CBD, prices were high and supply was high and nobody was giving an inch. Now what I see now are developers are discounting property. So I see a shift down in the market. I also see that it's not an optimistic market from an investor side, from the people spending. The buyer side, they're tight, their jobs are maybe gone, or their jobs are under threat. They're not as confident. The banks are lending a little bit less. So what we're seeing is a drop in the prices. And what we see selling are what investors are scooping up as good investments. So typically, things that are really moving are things that are 20 to 30% off asking price of comparable properties. So if something else is asking around 10, you need to be at 10 million baht, you need to be asking 8 or 7 to get that property to sell. But that said, by putting your price there, you will attract those buyers and they will come. Right now, that's just a market sentiment. It can change. As we all know, we're all hoping for better days. But if I were pricing a property today to sell within the next 6 months, it needs to be about 20 to 30% under comparable asking prices. So I thought I would share that with you. Thank you for sticking with me through the video, and do subscribe if you want to catch up more videos. Good talking to everyone, and I'll see you soon.